Hi everyone, welcome to another session. Here we are going to take our project to the next level. Like in the last session, we discussed about the requirement analysis. Then we gather the requirement analysis, and then we'll created the database structure as well. So as you know, we are having one web application where we will have these many pages available: login page, inquiry page, admin panel, sub-admin panel. Inside the admin panel, we wanted to create these many pages for doing the CRUD operation for courses, batches, trainer, student inquiries, and several other functionalities. There is a trainer panel as well where we will have some additional pages, and then these are the technologies we are going to use for our product. And then we will have some background job as well in order to mark some flags true or false on the daily basis, or maybe whatever period we will set. Then there will be another Android application we are going to create. So that application will be for the student panel. So student can use that Android application to attend the sessions, attend the live trainings, update their profiles, like submit the fee screenshots and all. So this will be useful for that. And as by considering all our requirements, we have created this database structure where we will have these many tables like login details, user table, student details, course, batch, inquiry, fees, interview schedule, and all. Okay, so these many table with the all these fields so far we have added. So we will create these tables with all these fields, primary key, foreign key relationships, and everything. And then I think we should good to go for creating the web APIs for our product. Now, in this session, we are going to create the one uh, web API application in the .NET Core 7. So by using that application, first of all, we need to create the database structure. Then we will start creating the web APIs in order to do the CRUD operations with our tables, so that those APIs we will use in our Android application as well as in our web application. Okay, so we will have one centralized server where we will one centralized server where we will create the APIs, create one centralized database, and then that server will be responsible for providing the data to all our client applications. So our client application can be Android application, iOS application, then it will be web application. Okay, so all these three are clients of our server. First, our approach will be, first of all, we will create the server, and then we'll start the development on the client side. So how we can create the server? First of all, let me show you. Here in the technologies, you can see I have mentioned .NET Core Web APIs as the first technology for creating the web APIs. Okay, so we need one .NET Core project where we will write the web APIs. Now I'm going to create that project. Here you can see I have created one folder structure. This PC, D drive, office work, talent to track. So this is our product name, talent to track. Here we will create some APIs, API projects. Okay, so let's do that. First of all, you will have to go to the GitHub. Okay, log into your account. You can use any source control software, okay, or source control provider. So there are a lot of source control, like Bitbucket is there, Bitbucket. Okay, then GitHub, then GitLab. Okay, then you can also choose ADO. ADO means Azure DevOps. Okay, then you can also use Bitbucket, GitHub, GitLab, Azure DevOps. Okay, for now these many, and then we are going to use GitHub for now because I have this account available. Okay, once you log into your account, you will have to create a new project. Okay, new repository for your project. So you can go here, your repositories. Okay, and then you can create a new repository. There I will give the repository name like Talento track hyphen API. Okay, so this is your API project. So that's why Talento track APIs. Okay, you can give the name with hyphen or underscore is fine. Okay, I think underscore is good. So we'll use that. This will be your description box where you will add some description for your project, like what are all things you are going to do in your project. So you can just add the summary there. This will be my private repository, sorry, public, because you guys also need to page the code. So that's why I will add the readme file, readme.md file. So in this file, we will basically add the some information about our current project. So what is the project is about and how we can run that project, what are all dependencies we require in order to run our project. So all those things we will add into the readme.md file. So this will be your create repository. Okay. Once I create the repository, you can see there is a blank repository has been created, and we can just use that for creating our new project. So how we can do that? Just go here. There should be a clone button somewhere. This one. Just copy this path. Okay. Now you can open your Visual Studio like this. Okay. Now you can click on the clone repository, add your repository address, and click on the clone. Now you will have to mention the path here where you want to clone this repo. I wanted to clone on D drive, office work, Talento track, then folder name should be API, and click on the select folder. Okay, there is no path exit with this folder name. Copy, create a new folder, and then select folder. Okay, so it will create a new project, new folder with this name, and then we'll create a new project. Okay, click on the clone, cloning a Talento track API. Okay, so we got the folder view because there is no project as of now. You can see inside the Talento track, this is the API project. Here we are having the readme.md file. That's it. Okay, now I wanted to create a new project. So file, right click, add. Okay, go here, file, new project. Okay, while creating new project, you can choose ASP.NET Core Web API. Okay, if this is not available, you can find here ASP.NET Core Web API. This one. Okay, once you find here, you will find some results matching with your search key, and this is your application ASP.NET Core Web API. Okay, click on the next button. Once you click on the next, you will have to provide the project name like Techno Talento Track API. Okay, give the folder path again. Now problem is the project which we have created here, that folder does not have any project, but we cannot choose that project for creating this project because that is not empty. Okay, so let's create another folder for now. Temp. Okay, select that folder and click on the next button. Okay, here you can choose the .NET Core version. Let's choose the 7 now for now. Okay, authentication type is for now none, and then click on the create. Okay. Before that, like if anyone does not have any Visual Studio installed, this is my Visual Studio community version 2022. You will have to install that on your machine. So once you install this one, you can able to create a new project. Okay, and you can work on the API project. Now you can see we have created one project, API project, which has one weather forecast controller. Okay, this has one app setting.json file, program.cs file, weather forecast.cs file. Okay, so this is the folder structure you will get by default whenever you will create a new API project. Okay, so this is Talento track underscore API is the project name. This is your controller. This is your app settings file. App setting file means in this file you can add your configurable variables. Okay, what is configurable? So those variables which you want to change at the runtime without recompiling your source code. Okay, like if you go to the controller, you can see there is some hard coded values, right? Freezing, bracing, chilly, cool, all these things. So these value you cannot change until and unless recompiling your program project and deploying it again. Okay. Okay. So these value are hard coded into your source code. So that's why these are not configurable. Configurable means if you keep some values into the JSON file, appsetting.json file, then you will have to read these values into your controller, services, repositories. So that way, if you want to change them later after publishing or hosting your application on server, if you want to change them, then you can change them without recompiling your project. You can just go to the app setting, add a new value, it will be reflected into your source code. Okay, so that's why this file called as a configurable file. Here we can mention all the configuration level thing as well as your uh, hosting server related things. Okay. Okay. Now let's close this project. Go here into the temp folder. Okay. Copy these things, two folders, Control X, and add your repository. So this is your repository, right? Once you add, that's it. You can now delete this temp folder. Now we can go here, right click, open. Okay. Yeah. Now you can see the source control as well. We are in the Talento track API repository and main branch. Okay. This is your main branch. So here you can create a new branch. Okay. I'm going to create develop branch. Develop. Okay. Develop branch is from the main branch. Main means your master branch. Okay. I'm going to create that branch because whenever you will work on any of the project, first of all, you will have to create a new feature branch. Now, what is feature branch? Feature branch means every developer will work on his own branch. That is your feature branch. And then, okay. So that feature branch will be different than your develop branch and master branch. Let me quickly show you in MS Paint. Okay. So let's say this is your repository. Okay. This is your repository. Repository means where you have stored the source code. Okay. Repo. Now, okay, in our case, what is the repository name? Repository name is Talento Track API. Where we have created that? on the GitHub, I have created this repository. So inside this repository, I will have the source code of this project. Okay. So you got the idea what is repository. Now, inside this repository, we will have some branches. Okay. Like I will have one master branch. Okay. This is your main branch. Main branch means all the source code of the master is nothing but your production source code. What is production now? Production means whatever code you have deployed on your production server, means hosting server. Okay. So whenever we will access this application, we will need to add some URL, right? Talent login.talenttrack.com. So if I mention this URL, then it will you can see the login page and use this application. So that is your entry point of your application. So that application we will host on that domain, that is your production server, where your actual customers can log in and use that application. Okay. So same thing, whatever code we have pushed to the production, that will be your master branch. Okay. There will be another development branch as well. Okay. So development branch means, so let's say you have deployed one version 1 of your product. Now you wanted to introduce some more features. Okay. But before that, you want to verify all these things internally before rolling out to the public. Okay. Before rolling out to the production. So you wanted to do the development, do the trial and error basis testing. If there are any errors, then you will have to fix that again, then deploy it again, tester will test that, and eventually once you're done with your development and testing, you feel comfortable, okay, now this can be roll out to the production. So this develop branch will merge the production later. Okay, later means once done with the proper testing and development. Okay. Now this is your development branch. Now what is feature branch? Feature branch means, let's say developer 1, developer 2 and developer 3 are working on the same project. Okay. So this developer and this developer will create their own branches. Okay. And then we'll merge those branches to the development branch. Okay. So this way there will be no conflict between these many developers while working on the same project. Okay. So there should not have any conflict. So he is working on login page, he is working on registration page, he is working on, let's say, admission form. Now once he finish his login page, he will merge into the development. Once he finish with his registration page, development, inquiry form, development. Okay. So development branch will have a code from all these developers, and then we will deploy this development branch somewhere on the QA server. Okay. We will call it as a QA server. So on the QA server, we will verify all our changes, whether whatever changes done by these many developers are correct or not. If yes, then it will deploy to the QA server. QA will verify here. Once QA confirm everything is working as expected, then QA will deploy their project on the production. This is your production server. So whatever we will deploy on the production will be well tested by QA members from our team. QA means testers. Okay. So developer 1, 2, 3 will check in their code on their own branches. We will merge those branches to the development to QA server. QA will verify. Once QA server is verified everything and it is working as expected, then it will go to the master. Master is your production branch. So whatever you will release to your hosting server, that will be from your production branch only. So this is how branching works. So it was like little bit information about it. So let's get back to our API project again. So here what I did, I have created one repository, then I have created one develop branch as well. Okay. So this is your master branch. Main branch means master branch. Develop branch means develop branch, where we will have the code which is in development stage. Now as as you know, like only one. I am the only one developer of this project. I'm not going to create a developer branch, this many feature branches, because we will do these many branches when multiple team members are working on the same project. So that's why they will create a new branch. Okay, so feature branching name should be like this, like feature developer name. Okay, and then what if they are working like login page like this, and click on the create. So this developer is working on login page feature like this. So in this branch we will have a code for login page. Then there will be another developer who will working on the inquiry page, another developer working on the admission page, like that. Okay, I hope you got the understanding so far. What we did, I will repeat again in quickly. We have created one repository. Okay, then we have check out this repository on the folder here. How we have check out that? When we open the Visual Studio, there was a clone repository option. I have added the URL, click on the clone. Once I did that, this empty repository got check out on my folder structure on my PC. Okay, now here there is a GitHub folder, readme folder automatically created. Now these two things I have created my own. I have created a project into the temp folder first. Okay, once I done with the project creation, while creating the project, I choose web API project template, click on the next, then added the project name at the Talento track API, then click on the next and create. Once I create that project, then it created one folder along with one SLN file. Inside that folder, you can see all the folder structure is available. Okay, and then this project file got created. This bean and obj folder are the folder where we will have the actual compiled DLS files available. Okay, in controllers we will have the classes for managing our web APIs. Then there is a app setting.json file. As I mentioned, this file will have your configurable variables. There is a program.cs file. This is your entry point of your project, and this is the chproj file, which is nothing but your project file. It indicates you have one project. One project means collection of all these files and folder structure. And we have one solution file. So one solution can have multiple projects. Okay, so let's go into the Visual Studio. So this solution Talento Track API has one project, that is Talento Track API. Got it? Now let's create multiple projects. So I'm just going to demonstrate like what should be the folder structure, what should be the project structure for your .NET Core Web API application. Okay, so this is your API project. Now let me show you. We should have a folder structure like this. One is API project. Okay, in this project we will only have API project level uh, files and folders. Okay, which we are going to deploy. This is the self-hosted project. Next one will be your common. Okay, so Talento track underscore dot common. Okay, this will have your actual interfaces and common things across your multiple projects. Okay, then we'll have Talento track dot uh, services. Okay, or service. Then Talento track dot dow. Okay, then that's fine. I think these many projects are enough. So data access layer, services, common, and your API project. Okay, we can also call this DAO as a repositories. Okay, this is services. So these many projects we require. Now let's create those projects. Right click, add new project. Okay, so here we will create one class library project. Search for class library. So class library are such projects which will not have the APIs and anything. These are the supporting project for your current main application, main project. So this Talento track API is your main self-hosted project. We are going to create the supporting projects which will have only one DLL as a output file. Okay. So first project name is common. Okay. And this project I wanted to create inside Talento track API. And here I wanted to create that project common. Next, create. Okay, you can see this project is now get created. Talent track common, talent track API. Let me see where it is created. This one. Okay, dot common. Okay, now let's create another project. It will have the services. Right click, add new project for services. Class library. Copy this service. Next, create. Okay, you got another project called service common, and this API is having underscore. I think we should have talent to track dot API. Okay, so we can rename that as well. So let me rename it. Okay, talented track dot API. Got it. Okay, next one is repositories. Right click, add new project, class library. So let's create DAO, not repositories, data access layer. Okay, next, create. Great. So we have created these many projects. Now let's try to run this API project and see what are all existing API provided by the .NET Core. Okay. So in order to run this project, you will have to right click on this project, click on the set project as default, set as a startup project. This one, set as a startup project. Okay. You can see there is a controllers folder. Inside that controller, we are having weather forecast controller, and in this controller, .NET has provided us one sample API, that is get weather forecast. Let's run this API. Okay, so you can see once I run this API project, it has created one API, that is weather forecast. This API has this response type. Okay, it will return you the date, temperature C, temperature F, and summary. Okay, so this is your Swagger. What is Swagger? Swagger is uh, API contract generation tool where you can see your web APIs in a form of UI. Okay, so you will not see the JSON like this. If you see the JSON like this, then you won't understand what are all APIs available. But this JSON is converted into the UI form, so you can understand it better. Like what are all APIs are available. You can see weather forecast API is available. If I open this one, Inside this, here you can call that API. Click on the try now button. Okay, try it out. Click on the execute. Once you execute, you can see the response. Okay, this is your response of that API. So from Swagger also you can try calling your APIs. See the response here. Okay, so API endpoint is, it is hosted on localhost colon 7050 port number slash weather forecast controller. So if I go to the project, there is a weather forecast controller. Inside that, you can see there is one API called get weather forecast. So here we are having that API get weather forecast. Okay. Now this get weather forecast is a get method, so that's why we don't have to mention that. Okay. So controller name is this. If you don't mention any action name, then it will automatically give a call to the get method. So get method means your this API, and this API is basically returning first 5 records from your list. Okay. So this is your 5 records, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay. And this is your JSON. This JSON you can use in your client application, Angular, Java, JavaScript, jQuery for displaying the records on the web page. Okay. So this is how we can just create one API project. We can run that and see the default API available. Okay. We can also run this API through the Postman. I will show you that quickly. So let's say this is your Postman. Okay, so Postman is basically one of the tool which will help you to call your web APIs, to test your web APIs. Now this is your port number, right? You can copy the URL from here. This is your URL. You can mention the URL here and then click on the send button. Once you click on the send button, you can see from here also we can call the web APIs. This is your response. You got the 5 JSON property, JSON values, JSON object. Okay, and our client application can use it. Now our first goal is how to create APIs. APIs should have all the functionalities, CRUD functionalities to play with all these tables. Once I'm done with the web API and database, then we will create web application. Once I'm done with that web application, then we will create the Android application. So this is your end goal for this project. Okay, I'm stopping here. We'll discuss by creating a new database structure and API in the next session. Let me stop the recording.